What do you make of the Jonah Tong move?
Look, I feel like everyone sort of forgot that Jonah Tong is an incredible pitching prospect after he kind of was okay last season when he came up, and had some spring struggles as well. And I feel like we slept on him a little bit, Sal. Like, oh, he needs a little more development, and he did, and still does, I think, too, because the numbers have not been great in AAA. And I talked to a scout at the end of spring training who was saying, I didn't like Tong's body language during a start in spring too, when he was getting tuned up a little bit. So we forget that he's going to be 23 next month. So he's still a young man, but he has a world of talent. And the Mets have a need now, and he is the most experienced guy, or at least one of them. And so he's getting a shot here. I think he's probably going to piggyback tonight, like you mentioned, and it's a good shot for him to sort of change the conversation about him.
Well, here's the bottom line with Jonah Tong. Nobody is going to care about how he performed in AAA if he can find something in the big leagues for a team that is desperately needing help within their starting rotation. And I think what's fascinating, Sal, you mentioned the idea that they're calling up half of Syracuse to be a part of this pitching staff. It's basically open tryouts, as far as I'm concerned, for that fourth and that fifth spot within the rotation. Now, it puts that much more onus and that much more pressure on the Peralta-McClain starts, where I need a little bit more. McClain was underwhelming his last time out. Peralta, we know the deal, 5-inning Freddie, not giving you enough length. But without Clay Holmes, and I know David Peterson's been better as of late, they're still 4 and 5. It's open season. I know Christian Scott has shown glimpses. Now it's Tong. We saw Thornton the other day. Hey, can you go and get outs? If the answer to that question is yes, you're going to be a big part of this thing.
Yeah, I would simplify it by this, and we talked about this on Sports Night the other night. Like, we were talking about should Manaea be on the team, and I was like, well, yeah, they have nobody better. I would cut Kimbrel before I would Manaea. Would you rather have Jonah Tong on the roster or Craig Kimbrel? Which one do you think is going to give you a better chance to win games? Whatever his role is, and I think eventually he's going to be in the starting rotation. I don't care if it's a piggyback, an open, or whatever. I trust Tong more than I would Kimbrel, or at the very least, and I want to see what he could do. I think this is just another example where it's not like the Mets are purposely transitioning to bring half of Syracuse up here. It's that they believe those guys give them the best chance to win over the guys that were here that weren't getting the job done.
Right, and I don't ding them for trying it with Kimbrel, Sal, because sometimes, as we know, bullpens are so fickle that you have to discover guys. Exactly, you discover guys along the way, and hopefully they've got a half season or maybe even more to help you. And it didn't work out with Craig Kimbrel, and that's unfortunate. But now they've shown it, and David Stearns has done this throughout his tenure with the Mets. He's shown the discipline that when it's not working, he stops it and moves on, and that's why they're bringing a guy like Tong up.
And the difference is, though, it's not like this would be a normal thing. I think if we were at this point in the season without all the injuries, Kimbrel probably would be DFA'd at some point anyway. I just never thought he was that good. But now they're ravaged by injuries. They're desperate for any arm, so it's going to the minors, bring up another one. And obviously Tong, we saw last year. Let's see if he matured a little bit.
This is a lot of bats, Tong, so that's a good thing to bring to the major leagues.
Right, Kimbrel wasn't missing bats last time we saw him.
Yeah, right. Even when he's pitching poorly in the minors, he was missing bats.